I cannot stress this enough. It is so obvious that hype is going to $1,000 per token. I'm actually genuinely shocked that people don't see this. I'm about to show you the 4 criteria that makes this one of the most obvious plays in crypto right now. Look, I've been buying $97 worth of Hyperliquid every single day. And the reason for that is it's actually shown a very similar pattern to what I've seen with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, and also Bored Apes just before they exploded. And somehow people are still sleeping on it. In this video, like I said, I'm going to walk you through the 4 criteria. And by the end of this video, you're going to be asking yourself how you missed something so obvious. And criteria 4 is the most important one of them all. You'll understand why Arthur Hayes predicts $5,000, yes, $5,000 per hype token. And I'm going to be a bit more conservative and say I believe that $1,000 per hype token isn't just possible, it's actually inevitable. So let's just jump in my computer and I'll show you this criteria. So let's go over here. If we have a look at criteria 1, this is the most important criteria that I look for all projects that I've had success with. And that actually is community first revolution. And what do I mean by that? Here, let's give you some examples. You've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bored Apes. What do they all have in common? They do not have massive early investors, early VCs, things like that. Why? The early VCs or early investors were not able to dump heavily on retail. That's what helped the project organically grow its community as well. And by result, the price would organically grow and to the point where it would just hit a flywheel effect and just go exponential. And yeah, if you keep that in mind, community first, all the major projects have gone really well. It's something really, really common. Like I said, you see it with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bored Apes, and guess what? Hyperliquid decided to take the same approach. No investors, no paid market makers, no fees to any company, community first. And like I said, if there's no VCs, there's no dumps, pure community ownership. And here's an example of a project that had, let's just say, a lot of early investors, a lot of VCs that got in at a really cheap price. And look what happened when the token launched. It absolutely nuked. And this is called Internet Computer or ICP. I'll go into CoinGecko here and just have a look at that price. It started at $461 and just nuked. Oh my God. Imagine if you bought this coin when it launched on Binance or whatever exchange or wherever you bought it from. You were absolutely wrecked. And the funny thing was I believe there were insiders on the insiders. So yeah, that was completely hilarious. So that's the main thing I always focus on. Community first approach or community based projects. They tend to go really well. It's a very common theme I see. Now let's hop on to criteria 2. What's criteria 2? Real revenue / value accrual, or in some cases like attention. And in the case with Hyperliquid, let's be completely honest. A lot of cryptos is smoke and mirrors and speculation. One piece that I've realized with Hyperliquid is they actually have real revenue and they actually have a way to accrue value. If we go here to DeFi Llama, you'll see here fees annualized about 1.185 billion and the revenue 1.162 billion. So what does that mean? It means out of all the fees they're getting, okay, they have roughly about, I think that's about 98% profit margin. Yeah, that's about 98% profit margin, which is crazy, which is huge. And this is where the flywheel effect of Hyperliquid comes. About 95% of their revenue, see this, 95% of this, they use it to buy back their hype token. And how do I know this is possible? How do I know they're not lying to me? Easy. It's all on chain. They've got a wallet here. It's called the Assistant Fund. Okay? And what this fund does is they use 95% of their fees to buy back the hype token. If I refresh this page, you can see it's live, literally happening right now. You can see they're buying back hype token through the fees that the exchange is generating. And over time, you can see obviously they have more than $1 billion worth of token because they bought the token lower than the current price and they're continuously buying the token. So that's pretty amazing that the fact that they're using 95% of their revenue to buy back their own native token. And what's that going to do? It's going to give buy pressure. What happens when you have more buyers and sellers? The price goes up. So let's just have a look at that. And this is where, I'm not sure if you've seen this on X or Twitter or social media, but revenue per employee, going back to the DeFi Llama, looking at the annualized revenue, you can see Hyperliquid only has 11 employees. And that's where the meme came. If you get their revenue divided by the amount of employees, it's this statistic here, revenue per employee. And Hyperliquid is the highest here. It used to be Tether, but now it's Hyperliquid. You got OnlyFans, Nvidia, Cursor, Apple, Meta. Yeah, Hyperliquid is on the top of this chart right now, which is absolutely crazy. Now let's check out criteria 3. So criteria 3, if we go here, what's that financial aggregator model? What do I mean by that? Well, this is what Hyperliquid is doing. They're not just trying to focus on one area. They're trying to focus on more than one area and slowly grow the pie. So if we look here, the perps opportunity. If Hyperliquid takes the perps market, it's a $70 billion opportunity. If they take the perps and spot market, it's an $80 billion opportunity. What's next? Perps plus spot plus layer 1 opportunity. That's another that's a total $140 billion opportunity. Or if they decide to become the everything exchange, as in they offer everything in exchange plus more, then that's more than a $500 billion opportunity. And the way Hyperliquid has been built, it's not just an exchange, it's actually a layer 1, allowing other people to create financial apps on top of their layer 1. And a really easy example with that to show you live is there's actually people building on the layer 1 right now. And some of these apps involve Based, probably Phantom Wallet. You probably used Phantom Wallet. And you might be asking, how's Phantom Wallet built on Hyperliquid? It's not the perps function of Phantom Wallet that's built in Hyperliquid. So first, let's just go to the dashboard to see which apps are built on the Hyperliquid layer 1. And they're using all the Hyperliquid infrastructure, fees, liquidity, stuff like that. So we go to this website here, and you can check. These are all the apps being built on top of the Hyperliquid stack right now, and their revenue. And you can just see this is just the beginning. It's just starting. It's growing, which is pretty incredible. Going back to the Phantom point, we'll have a look at here. If you go to the Phantom website, introducing Phantom Perps. It just came out in July. I'm just going to quickly scroll to show you guys. And it says right here, powered by Hyperliquid. Benefit from Hyperliquid's deep liquidity, speedy transaction settlement, and proven reliability. So if you go to Phantom Wallet and you decide to long or short something, you're actually using Hyperliquid in the back end. So not only, if you don't need users to directly use Hyperliquid, people who are using Phantom Perps are actually using Hyperliquid in the back end. So that's going to help grow the ecosystem. And one of the things that helps Hyperliquid grow is obviously attention. So the more times I'm not sure if you've seen an X, a lot of people will have a tweet or post, and they'll at the end of it, they'll just say Hyperliquid. And that's part of getting attention as well. And if you want to agree or disagree with me, I'd say the more users you have, the more liquidity, you get better apps, you get a stickier ecosystem. And then more users use the apps, use the ecosystem. It's a massive flywheel effect. You get more users on the ecosystem. But here's the most important thing, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if you have the best tech. I believe we're in an era where you have to have the best attention or the most attention. And Hyperliquid is doing that really well. Okay, I'm seeing so many apps integrating Hyperliquid and they're just saying Hyperliquid is a meme, or they're adding Hyperliquid into it. An easy example is if you heard of a company called Cluely. They've grown significantly fast due to their presence of being able to capture attention. So yeah, that's something I can see Hyperliquid is doing really good compared to their competitors, is they're able to get attention of users, not through just their stack, but through the apps they're integrated with. And criteria 4, this is the most important criteria, okay? Hyperliquid not just being an exchange, but being the everything exchange, okay? And you'll understand this. Let's have a look at this. Why institutional investors like Syncrecy Capital are investing billions. Also, Paradigm has invested billions into Hyperliquid. And there's a main reason. If you look at the evolution of crypto exchanges, one of the first, which was Coinbase, the creators, or the first perpetual swaps, which was BitMEX, and one of the founders of that is actually Arthur Hayes. I'm going to talk about him a bit later on. The second, or the next iteration of this was Binance, which is absolutely huge. And then who tried to dethrone Binance? FTX, but unfortunately they didn't do things correctly and they failed in the process. So the next real competitor is Hyperliquid. And there we go. And right now, if we go to DeFi Llama, we'll check it out here. Okay, this is DeFi Llama, and what I'm looking at here is what percentage of stablecoins, of the entire stablecoin market, is on Hyperliquid. So right now, can you see, right now Hyperliquid is still using USDC, and they have about $6 billion worth of USDC in the Hyperliquid platform. If we check out the market cap of USDC, that's about 74 billion. So the reason I'm showing you that is because if you do 6 billion divided by 74 billion, that means 8% of all USDC supply is on the Hyperliquid platform. Think about that. A stable coin, 8% of the entire stablecoin supply is on the Hyperliquid platform. That's pretty huge. And there's a reason I'm going to show you that. Following on from that, just remember that 8% of all USDC is on the Hyperliquid platform. That's like one thing I want you to remember. The second thing also is look at the growth. Okay, there's always been a fight of, this is a chart of perps volume, so different perps exchanges, and you're going to see here over this blue here is like in the last 24 hours, Hyperliquid has had 49% of all perps volume on chain, all on chain perps volume. And if we go here, you can see just over time, it's just eating more market share. Look at that, it's just growing and growing and growing. There hasn't really been an exchange that's been doing the same aggressively. Yeah, and this is where my next point is going to go. So there was actually a WebEx summit or conference in Tokyo this year, and this is where Arthur Hayes, he was the founder of BitMEX, and he went on stage and he predicted that he believes that the Hype token will do 126x and go to 5K. But wait, let's just slow down a bit. His predictions are based on something, okay? And these are the numbers that he's based his predictions on. If the stablecoin supply is at $10 trillion, okay? And he's got all these values here. And I'm like, hey, this guy, he seems like he's a pretty smart guy. He really understands the perps opportunity, because why? First exchange to have perp swaps, yeah? Okay, so if we just take them into mind and be like, okay, cool, let's look at his numbers, okay? And let's try to understand them. I decided to, hey, rather than $10 trillion supply of stablecoins in 2028, I decided to do my own research and be like, what's a more safer or a lower estimate number of stablecoin supply? So what I did was I obviously research what I think the stablecoin supply would go to. I got the digital money released by the US Treasury, and what they predicted by 2028 was that the stablecoin trajectory to reach a $2 trillion market cap in 2028. Okay, not 10 trillion, but 2 trillion. Okay, keeping that in mind, instead of doing 10 trillion, let's change that to 2 trillion. So what does that mean? It's a reduction of 5. So instead of, let me change that. Instead of having 5K hype, just divide that by 5. And you got 1K hype. And you might be saying, yeah, that's too simplistic. That's an oversimplification. This is based on all of his numbers, and all I'm dividing is the stablecoin supply by 5. All these other numbers, I'm sure he's very smart. He's a lot smarter than me. He's figured out all these numbers, done all his modeling, all that stuff. Maybe they put that a little bit higher just to psyops you a bit. So what I did was just divide it by 5. Divide that by 5, bang, you get 1K hype. And that's like the normal case. The bull case is if the stablecoin supply goes way higher, then this goes way higher. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I think this is one of the most obvious opportunity. The main fact that I've been looking at every single day is just this growth. I've never seen a perps DEX have so much volume in the last few years. Considering they were beta testing in 2023, yeah, that's crazy. But the main thing that comes into mind is this, the community aspect. No investors, no paid market makers, no fees to any other company. I'm seeing so many perps competitors come out, which are funded by VCs. They're going to dump early in retail investors. They've got some shady tokenomics. Hype is focused on the main thing, which I've seen really successful with crypto projects, which is community first. Community first, backed by this positive flywheel. I think this is so obviously going to go to 1K. And if you want to learn more, make sure you follow this channel. Otherwise, I'm posting every single day that I'm buying $97 worth of Hyperliquid to back my conviction on this. So follow me to see how this turns out.